Hey, Nice Guy community, as you well know or may not know, we run on listener donations exclusively. So we really need you to go to patreon.com/nice guys and just donate like $1 or $2 a month.
How would they not know that already? It seems like it would be impossible. We talk about this ad nauseum. Patreon.com/nice guys. Help us, please.
Well, maybe they're a new listener. We do get those occasionally.
Well, that's true. Occasionally. We lose a lot, but we gain a lot too.
For as little as $1 or $2 a month, you can help keep the lights on. Thanks. We love you guys.
Coming up today on the Nice Guys on Business.
But bar none, research shows that Facebook right now is the largest platform with the most engaging audience, and they have a lot of good features for someone starting out or a small business to continue with that engagement. So if you want to start anywhere, I would start on that platform first and then grow from there.
Hey, Nice Guys. I have a new strategy. Let the Wookiee win. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Nice Guy community, welcome back, welcome back. It is Wednesday, middle of the week. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler.
Strickland, guess what? So
What?
we are right now at episode 364. That means that if you took basically every day of the year, minus Christmas, of course, because we're going to give the Christians a day off here. If you or if you're Jewish, in my particular case, you can have Hanukkah off, or maybe Yom Kippur, since that's an extremely high holiday. 364 episodes we have cut. If you listen to the Nice Guys one episode a day, going back to episode number 1, it will take you 1 full year to listen to our show.
That's crazy. Why would somebody want to go back and do that? But then if they did that for a year, then they'd be another year behind.
Oh, no. So they'd have to listen to 2.3 episodes since we do 3 episodes a week, right? Is that how that...
we do 5 episodes
1.3.
So they'd have to listen to 2 episodes a day so they could listen to the new episode and the old episode on the same day, and then they'd be caught up in a year.
Hold on. I got a cramp in my brain. How did you do the math? I don't even know.
Don't worry about it, Doug. I think we should really just get to the promise statement and tell people they need to recommend us on Overcast.
Okay, so
although we do have an interview with Travis Johnson today, we haven't forgotten about you, Travis.
Okay. So let's do the promise statement first. It's to provide an experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life. If you feel like we do that, we run short of the mark. Any way that you want to reach out to us, please let us know if you feel like we are fulfilling our promise. At DJ Doug is my Twitter handle. Strix is at Nice Guy on Biz. Don't even worry about Strickland. Just hit me up on Twitter. Strick, so I talked about this on Monday's episode, and I think it's important to reinforce this as well. If you are listening on Overcast, please do us a favor. Recommend each and every episode that you listen to. We have somehow, I tragically, and maybe I have not been checking our Overcast stats, but we have slipped to the number 4 spot on Overcast after probably spending about 6 months at the number 2 spot. Now, I understand that the 2 companies that we're up against, the other podcasts, are both a Gimlet podcast and an NPR podcast, and of course Tim Ferriss, but I don't know who that guy is. Mm-hmm. So we have fallen short. They probably do a really good job of telling their audience. Can you do it in an NPR way, Strick, about the recommendations? Maybe they would relate to that a little bit more. Could you do
the NPR way? You think?
Yeah. Okay.
Hold on. Okay. Nice Guy community. Want to let you know that the Nice Guy podcast is. It's gone right out of my head. Not sponsored entirely. What is it? What do they say?
Funded,
they say funded. Okay, let's try it again.
Okay, hold on. Take 2.
Beep. Okay, take 2. Nice Guy community. You may not be aware, but the Nice Guys on Business podcast is funded entirely by listener donations. You can go to patreon.com/nice guys, and for as little as $1 a month, you cheapskates.
Hold on, wait. I wasn't on a Patreon thing.
That was Overcast. We did Patreon already this morning.
I just wanted.
Oh, okay. We'll take 3. Boy, I'm a mess. I'm paying no fucking attention whatsoever today.
All right, here we go. Take 3.
You wonder about that, right? Like the guys that do like the NPR intros, right?
Are they listening?
Do they do that? It's like. Thank you for funding NPR.
Hey, how the fuck was that? Was it okay? Did I do good? Oh, no. You want to take it again?
NPR is funded entirely. I mean, I wonder if that's what they really sound like.
Probably. But no, this was so that people recommend us on Overcast.
On Overcast. Okay.
Yeah, and you know the parameters to which somebody has to recommend us, right? I just wanted to make sure that you got the commercial down. Okay.
I think
the
I got it
mechanics of the commercial. Okay. Is this 4? Take 4.
3.
Okay.
Take 3.
Okay. NPR commercial recommendations Overcast. Take 3.
Take 3. Funkin' fans, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for supporting the Nice Guys on Business podcast, but we're slipping. We know you love us and listen to us on Overcast, but we need you to recommend every single episode. Please go to the episode, press the little star so we can get back up to number 2 and keep sucking Tim Ferriss's ass. Thank you for your support.
Thank you. That's perfect. Do we have is today an interview day?
It is, Travis. I hope Travis isn't too straight a guy. He's going to hear "suck Tim Ferriss's ass," and it's going to be like,
"Oh my
what
gosh!"
It's funny you
say. It's funny you say that. So Travis and I'm not giving. I'm hoping I'm not sharing any cards that I should not be sharing. But Travis, you know, if you've come on the show, that we're going to share all the cards that we have. So Travis, I think if I remember correctly, because the interview I did a few weeks ago, and before that, I had communication with Travis before he came on the show. I'm pretty sure that he agreed to come on the show. Then he started listening to the show.
And then he went, "Oh shit, what the hell I got myself into?"
So I think it was like one of those "oh shit" moments. Like, what's going to happen next if I actually come on the show? Is this going to really soil my reputation? Well, there's a lot of things that you can soil, but your reputation might not be one of them when you come on the show. However, it could be. So Travis gently sent me an email saying, "Hey,
wait a minute, what was that? What did you just say?"
Don't worry about it. Soiling the reputation, but that part.
Yeah. I didn't have my sound effect up enough.
Where was that?
That was the sound effect. Like, there are a lot of things that you can soil, but your reputation isn't one of them. I just didn't have it up in time. That's why I wanted to get you to repeat it.
You're foolish. So he sends me an email. I think this was Travis that sent me an email. Hey, yeah, listen to a couple of the episodes. Great. Is it always necessary to cuss on the show? So I gently...
You could have told me that before we started this intro.
No, that's okay. Travis is cool with it, and he's a good guy, and I'm pretty sure we ran the interview straight. But you know, I always, what I say to all the guests is, if it happens to be a part of the language, then that's fine. I don't force the language. I'm just being me, and my guests are being them. And if an F-bomb is dropped or another word is dropped, then that's fine. What I tell people is, don't worry about the words that you say.
Yeah, but I do want to respect our listeners too, because if we have people that are listeners and they're a little more straight-laced,
or guests, guests or listeners?
Guests, I'm sorry, the guests. Yeah. And of course, if they have people that they're going to recommend the show to, not like I want to change our personality around completely, but we don't have to be like over the top crazy. If they're not over the top crazy, we need to kind of mold slightly what we do to fit the interview. It makes sense.
I kind of did that, not just with Travis, but with who do you think would be, I can't give you a name because it's going to be very challenging for you to come up with a name, but like what occupation would be a really tough one for you to think, hey, they probably don't use any kind of language, maybe like somebody that's religious or somebody that may be part of a sacred institution like the Girl Scouts. So
dominatrix?
Or no. See, like a dominatrix, you would think, okay, language would probably be completely wide open.
That was a joke, yeah.
Connie Fife came on the show, and Connie, down the road, we have an episode with her. She was the CEO of the Girl Scouts. She is like, she's foul.
I love it.
She's great.
I love it.
It's great. So anyway, about Travis. So he sent me the email. He asked me, hey, what's the... what's the dress code of the
What's the dress code? That's hilarious.
It was like totally what's the dress code? Hey, Strick, I just thought of a great idea.
What?
So
why don't we actually talk about Travis and his company, since we're like 8 minutes into this intro already?
We'll get to Travis. Travis is good. He's a cool guy. So, I was thinking about, and we can talk about this on tomorrow's episode. What's today, Wednesday? So we'll talk about this. We'll talk about this a little bit more in depth. We'll add this onto the subjects that topics that we're going to talk about.
Sure.
But remember we were looking for that key question that you can ask a guest that would be like a completely normal question.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't we ask this question? Something like, and we'll mold this tomorrow, but let's think of it. If you were going to a party, what dress code would you prefer? if we're asking that as just a straight question, totally a straight question, right? Because I could give you any answer. If you're a Nice Guy community member, you could say something like, I don't know, a tutu, So it's an answer that if you listen to the show, you would absolutely know the key, what was it, the clue.
So in other words, it's like, okay, this is like totally dating even me because this show was on before I was born. But was it Groucho Marx hosted a show and there was a secret word, right?
Yeah.
Like at the very beginning of the show, they would say the secret word is chicken. And if somebody happened to, in conversation, say the word chicken, like they would get a prize or something, right?
Yeah.
So I love it. So it's one of these things, right? Well, now this is one that I think we can do a little bit of exposition, right? In other words, if we only say it one time on one episode, then you can't expect a guest to have heard one episode. But every once in a while, we'll bring up dress code and tutu. Is that the answer that we're going to use? That's our inside joke answer?
Let's talk about that tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Anyway, so you were asking, what can we do as a question?
I like that.
This is really good. This is really
right, because then what would you like the dress code to be? And the normal answer might be, well, I like to dress up. I wear a tuxedo, or I prefer jeans in it. But if they say a tutu, then we'll know, or whatever answer
or
we decide on.
It is, right,
then we'll know that they are a Nice Guy listener. I love
Perfect. That is ideal. Now we have our question. See that? If Travis wasn't coming on this show, we would not have had this question. So if for nothing else, even if it's a horrible interview, which it's not, Travis did help the show. Travis, you were a great interview, and thank you for helping with coming up with our key question. And now that he is a part of our community as well, I know that he will like the fact that he's contributed to the show. What does Travis do exactly?
Affixol. Affixol. Doug, who is better at social media, you or me?
Me?
Not even by a little teeny tiny, even by a tiny bit, by a huge monster margin. You know why? Because I hate social media.
I know.
And you know what? I don't hate it. I just don't have time for it.
Right.
I don't have the desire to do it. That's what Travis does.
Yeah.
That's what Affixol does. That's his company.
Well, what he does is he's a content marketing machine. So we all have all of this content that's out there in the world. We just don't know how to promote it properly. So Travis actually does a great job, because not only does he help curate and create the content, but he helps you get it out to the world too. And that's the most challenging part. It's like, we can have this great content. We have this we have this great show that we think is a great show, but if we don't know how to market it out there in the world, then it's not going to get anywhere. Dollar Shave Club has this amazing blade, but if they don't market it in a creative and entertaining way, then they don't become $1 billion company like they are. They're bought by Unilever.
What? Unilever?
Yeah.
Did Unilever buy them?
I think Unilever bought.
Oh yeah, you're right. They did
for $1 billion.
$1 billion, yeah.
Yeah, no wonder they don't want to talk to us. I'm still a little bit bitter about that, by the way.
Yeah, that's like, what was that, 6 months ago, a year ago or something? Anyway,
at least.
Let's get back to Travis. So Affixol does all of that really cool stuff that I hate to do and have no time for whatsoever.
Well, and why would you want to do it if there's a great company like Travis? As a matter of fact, Travis and I were discussing how we could potentially use the services that his company offers as a part of the Nice Guy community and getting our show and our new company off the ground.
How
really
cool
well.
would that be?
That would be great.
Would that be?
All right.
Yeah,
So
improve your engagement, identify trends and opportunities, and increase the brand and analyze campaigns. I mean, so it's more than just, hey, we're going to spit some stuff out on social media. It's really about, okay, let's see the trends and let's see who's paying attention and which direction do we need to go. It's good stuff.
Great interview. Enjoyed my conversation with Travis. I think we should just get to the interview, unless you have any final words before we do it.
Proud to be affiliated with the C-Suite Radio Network, which is something you should be saying, Doug, because it's your thing. But that's okay. I'm here to back you. I got your back. It's all good.
Thanks, Rick. All right, let's get to our interview. Travis Johnson with Affixol. Again, C-Suite Radio Network, our proud affiliation there. Proud, yes. Here comes our interview. Do you spend enough time with your customers? Are you creating enough content to keep them engaged? And are you engaging them properly? The key to success, according to our Nice Guys guest today, Travis Johnson, is fully coming to terms that even small businesses can compete with the big boys that are out there, and you can do it without going broke. That certainly is a good thing for me. Here to talk about customer loyalty and how your customer and social media outreach can be better than a disorganized mess. Guys, you should see my desktop right now. It is a disorganized mess. Welcome, Travis, to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
Hi, Doug and Strickland. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here with you guys.
Hey, that's great. Hey, you're the first guy that's ever actually said hi to Strickland. So normally we just leave him in the corner. Is that? Can we leave him over there? Or do we need to bring him in?
I mean, he is a pretty good quarterman. I've been following you guys for a while, so I still have to give him a little shout out.
Well, and I'm sure that he appreciates that too, since I know that he really does spend about 98% of his time listening to the first 30 seconds of the interview, and then he just kind of gets lost in La La Land. So I'm sure he appreciates to say hi to him. So I'm over on your blog, Travis, and I'm learning about all the fails businesses create in the social media world. Can you share what you guys do and how you can solve some of these issues?
Absolutely. So Affixol, again, a lot of people ask, what does that word even mean? Well, no one knew what Google meant when it came out, right?
Right.
So, we're a group of creatives. Now, when I say that, people drift their mind over to, hipsters or trendy people that do some social media or video blogging. And yes, some of that is true. But the other creative side is what I believe that we're all naturally born with, but you just have to develop. And where we're tying in Affixol is that element of creativity in the digital space, but with communication between customers and the business or business owners. So what that looks like in a nutshell is we are both the creative side and the communication side under one. Sometimes the way I explain it to business owners or solo entrepreneurs is we are your social media and your customer service department in one umbrella.
So a lot of times what will happen is somebody knows they're an expert in a space. Let's say somebody's an expert in the world of being a great vet. Okay, they're a great vet, but they don't necessarily, number one, know what content they should be creating, and secondly, how to blast it out there to the world. So what you're saying is you can take a veterinarian and you can say, okay, let's help them not only create great content and develop and curate their own content, but we can also help spread the message out to the world as well.
Absolutely. So let's use that example of the veterinarian. They are a veterinarian for a reason. It was a calling, purpose, something they desire doing, whatever the case may be. But that's where their focus needs to be. That's what's making them money. So here's the challenge with a lot of small businesses. And we've heard it mentioned in a number of business books out there where a business owner will get started or someone will go launch and then they'll work a couple of years, give or take. Don't hold me to the timeline, but they'll transition from working at the business to working in the business. And working at the business is going back to that veterinarian, that's how they make their living. That's where their revenue comes in. They're working at the business. They're doing what they're passionate about. They're doing what they're an expertise in. When the business owners or solo entrepreneurs, they start transitioning to working in the business, that's when they get caught up into all the other stuff that we are told that we have to do in our business to make it successful. Well, what Affixol is doing is we're becoming that app part for their entity. We're allowing them to stay focused on what they are an expert at, what they are passionate about, what drives them revenue, but then we're doing the work on the at side to continue to bring that engagement to their clients, continue to bring that customer service and that loyalty so they don't have to, they can keep focused on what they're passionate about.
All right, so help me with this for a second, Travis, because I know that this is probably the challenge that most people would run into, and I would run into. Okay, so I'm good at doing what I do, and let's just say my thing is I'm out there and I'm speaking to companies about building better relationships, but I don't have time to work, in the business, let's say, and that or on the business, which is the greater picture, which is doing my accounting and doing my social media outreach and doing my content curation and doing content creation, which is really the challenging part. How do you do that stuff? So the content curation, creation, and spreading the content, so the social media outreach. How do you do that and still retain a personal edge? Because really, isn't it about staying personal in business today?
It's going to be a combination of both. So if you are starting out and you're brand new to business, or if you've been in the game for a while, everyone realizes that you need to be in the digital space. You need to be able to produce content that's relative and it brings value to your audience, whoever that may be. And yes, so the options you have are, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to carve out 8 hours a week to do this, or I'm going to go hire someone to do that. But then there's two elements to this. There's the pushing of the content, there's the creating of it, And you can create content from multiple different sources, and there's plenty of tools, paid and free ones out there that a business owner or solo entrepreneur can use. Or you can spend that time and try to develop that creativeness inside yourself and write those blogs and post those images and create those videos. And what Affixol is not going to take away from is someone still doing that within their team environment, or even engaging with their employees. It's just we are going to be building that team ourselves around your brand, around your company, on your behalf, to do those hours of legwork on both ends. And when I mention both ends, again, we have the pushing of the content and what's being created out to the world. And now we have a pulling element. That's what Affixol is really great at. And that pulling element makes that business personable. That's where we're actually engaging with your clients on the one-to-one basis to draw them into one could be a conversation about something that they're interested in or that you found interesting in their life, or it could be that you're just engaging them to create loyalty, to remind them that, hey, I'm here, I'm following you, you're a friend of mine, you're a client of mine, and we want to show you that we're engaging, we're appreciative of what you're doing in your life. So some of this may like, Travis, what do you actually mean? Let's illustrate it this way. How do we communicate with our friends and family mostly in today's world? So, Doug, I want to ask you that question. How do you communicate with your friends and family mostly?
Either pick up the phone and call them. Sometimes it's through Facebook. Sometimes, it just depends on what member of my family and how much I like them.
Right.
I really want to talk to them or not. Yeah, but I would say that pick up the phone and call them, face-to-face visits, social media. Those are probably 3 channels.
Perfect. And you're illustrating exactly kind of where we're evolving. And, when I ask myself that same question, I talk to my friends and family three main ways: email, social media, and that could be either through Instagram, Facebook. That's where we mostly spend, at least my family spends our time, and then SMS or text messages.
Oh yeah.
So what does this mean?
Forgot about text messages and emails too. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Text messaging, definitely.
So what does this mean in the realms of Affixol and the content and customer service merging together? So that's where we were birthed out of that idea. Is we're seeing communication has developed and evolved so fast and so much over the last several years that we are now communicating and we're sharing experiences and sharing ideas and talking about topics that we're passionate about in multiple different channels at our personal level. And we're communicating, as we just illustrated, you and Doug, about how we communicate with our own family members, right? So why does businesses have to be any way differently? Why do they need to continue down the same road of just pump out, buy me, sell me, come to me, come over here, leave your other competitors and come this direction? Why does it have to be always that way? Well, it doesn't have to be. And if you are continuing to do that, well, you're going to get left in the dust, because the communication piece on human nature and how we engage with one another, again, as I just mentioned, has evolved, and there's so many different channels. So with Affixol, what we've built is that team and the platforms where we're listening for anyone that may say something about your brand, positive or negative. Right. Especially if you had an employee that may have left on bad terms, they go out there and blast negativity. Well, we want to be sure there that we're catching that on your behalf and speaking positively in that. Or it's the other side, making it personable. We go back to the human factor. Is if we are engaging our friends and family with their likes on Facebook, we're commenting on their photo albums from the weekend vacation. Why cannot businesses be doing that? Well, they should be. Again, it's going to continue to go back to that human element. So a good example, I'll use one of our clients as a restaurant. In restaurant scenes, a lot of high turnover. Restaurants use content curation, and they pump a lot of images and videos, and people are drawn to that. They're like, oh, I haven't had sushi in a while, and I saw that come across my feed. I'm going to go there tonight. That will happen. How often could you draw more business in for yourself if you were to reach out to your 100 or 10,000 clients that have already come to your restaurant and say, hey, Doug, I'm going to tweet to Doug, or I'm going to send Doug a photo via Facebook and tag him in and say, hey, Doug, we haven't seen you in a while. Come back through and, an appetizer's on us or a beer's on us, whatever it may be. We do that on our personal level by sharing these experiences and sharing these communication channels, but we're not really doing so much of it in the business realm.
So what's interesting is from everything that I'm reading about social media, that will be the vehicle by which customer service and customer care is really delivered. To some degree, too exposed, too open. I mean, do you think the worlds of social proof and customer service are coming together, or do you think that that's just the natural transition because what's been going on in the world of social media recently?
I do believe they're coming together. Let's look at even history. We have evolved the way that we communicate from smoke signals to rotary phones to party lines to pagers. And I know some of the audience are like, what is a pager and what is a rotary phone?
Strick still has his pager, so I'm going to disagree. I think he still has he calls it his beeper. I'm not sure he's got it anymore, but I think he may.
That's awesome. And I remember when those things came out, man. They're a hot item, but it's just an illustration. Another illustration would be the Yellow Pages. Who uses the Yellow Pages any longer? The big book that weighed 20 pounds that always showed up at your house, and you're like, right, what am I going to do with this thing? Well, at one time it was relevant. It really was. So now, where's relevancy these days? And there's an argument on SEO and Google searches and social media. I just believe and I'm seeing it. Not only just not believing, but I'm seeing it where it's just a smorgasbord of all these channels, digital spaces that are coming together. And if you are a solo entrepreneur, if you're a small business and you want to compete against the airlines and some of these larger companies that are already tapping into this true one-to-one engagement via digital channels, then there are ways of doing it. You just have to ask yourself, how much time and energy am I going to spend to do this? Am I going to go hire the people to do this and buy into the platforms and still have to manage it myself, or get connected with organizations like Affixol that are building teams, not just offering the platform and the SaaS product, but also offering the team and the training and the expertise that comes along behind that.
I mean, you mentioned a valid point, the percentage of time. What would you say would be a fair percentage of time that someone should spend on either content creation or content curation in addition to content marketing? Because those are three really important aspects of growing a business, especially when you're a brand new business.
Absolutely. And that's a great question because there's going to be arguments out there. From my opinion would be that if you're not creating something, then you just need to go ahead and just hang your business up, or put the "I'm out of business" sign on the door, because that's probably going to happen. How much time? Again, I'm a guy that is practical and I'm a practitioner, so. There's an element of how much work and how many hours you want to put into something. But it begs the question that we talked about a minute ago, is are you pulling yourself away from driving business and what you're really designed or what you're an expert in your own field? But a good number of people are like, all right, well, Travis, get to the answer to the question. For myself, with Affixol, I'm putting in 12 to 20 hours a week and just in that content creation, curation element to continue to build the brand around what we're doing. And it's the squeaky wheel gets the grease mentality. It's the loudest person in the room scenario. It's, this is how in the marketplace you're perceived to be an expert, is based on how much this information you're putting out there. The challenge, though, is because we live in an age that we have access to so much information and we have channels in which we can disperse that information, there is a lot of noise out there.
Oh, yeah,
totally.
More
information than we can ever consume in today's market. It's just unbelievable. So then how do you get yourself to stand out in the noisiest space in the world, or if you're in a very competitive space and there's everyone coming out of college and everyone that's been around and been in this business forever is now an expert and a consultant and this, that, and other. Well, how do you engage? And in that engagement piece, not only are we talking about the creation side, the creative nature, the social media and the content side, but then how are you communicating? There's both of those elements are going together at the same time very fast in today's market.
What would you say would be the most effective channels? I know that might be a little bit challenging to answer, but if you would have to pick just a handful of channels that would be good, what would be maybe your top three?
Well, for us, the top three are still emails. Some people say that's just old school. Well, I had to say that we are in that space because of our audience. We do a lot of B2B interaction, so people still use massive amounts of digital form of email in that space. Facebook, Instagram, and then LinkedIn are our top three social channels that we function on, and that's it's predicated on our audience. If you are in a business and say that you are in the restaurant industry, photos and video is going to be your top elements to create content because people are going to engage with that. Engage meaning pay attention to it. But then your audience may be Instagram or Facebook because that's where most of your audience is likely living. If you are a SaaS company, one of our clients is a SaaS company, we spend most of our time on LinkedIn because we're reaching out to CEOs and CFOs and other high-level individuals through that channel to communicate with them in regard to their product line, and that's where they're looking for that. So, circle back around to your question, what are your top three? Well, for us, as I mentioned, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and emails for us, but for anyone that's in business for themselves or branching out, you have to ask yourself, who is my target market, who are my clients, and then where are they living? But bar none, research shows that Facebook right now is the largest platform with the most engaging audience, and they have a lot of good features for someone starting out or a small business to continue with that engagement. So if you want to start anywhere, I would start on that platform first, and then grow from there. Do
you believe in Facebook ads? Are you a Facebook ad fan, or do you think that just more in the organic stuff is better?
Well, long game, I believe the organic is going to be better. I think that bringing that true one-to-one engagement is going to be the best return on your investment long term. Now, with Facebook ads, I still agree with them. I've run some. I've seen some engagements, and they can be produced very well where you can draw that attention and get someone to transition to your website or sign up, whatever the case may be. But again, that's that one-way communication. It's not two-way. You're trying to buy them into signing up or coming to your website or coming to your Facebook page for then you to engage them, and it still does work. Now, what's going to happen, as no different than as history showed us with everything else, it's going to become oversaturated, and people are going to get tired of seeing those ads. But in fact, we're already seeing a lot of these platforms where you can opt into you're paying not to see ads any longer. Mm-hmm. Well, then if you're a business and ads are the way that you're trying to draw that first contact to start engagement, well, if people are buying themselves out of it so they don't see it, then how are you going to communicate? All right, it's either you're going to put boots on the ground and you're going to go back to cold calls and cold emails and knocking on doors, or you're going to have to find another way to communicate with.
Travis, I'm hoping that never ever happens again, because I remember that portion. Man, in the 80s and 90s, that was the worst. I'm telling you, walking into an office cold was very challenging. I'd much rather send an email out to 50 and maybe get one that has even any level of interest than walking into even one office and getting rejected by that secretary up front. Man, that receptionist up front. That was tough.
It is brutal, and we're going to go down a little rabbit hole on that note there. The funny thing is about those true cold calls and those door-to-door things that we used to see. I mean, that was the number one way to get noticed. That was the prime way to get out there and get the community talking about you. But where I'm going with this is those individuals that were actually stepping out and doing that, they learned a lot about their companies, learned a lot about how to engage with another human being. And what does this all mean? You may ask, Travis, where are you going with this? Well, where I'm going with this is now that because we're doing most of our communication in a digital space, we have less concerns, we have less fears about actually being rejected. So we're okay with firing off, 15 or 100 or 200 cold emails, or having these email automations set up, knowing that, the percentages are low, but at least I don't have to deal with rejection. But you're missing out on a lot when you're doing that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Again,
no doubt.
So, again, those things worked then. I still believe at some point that those practices, though they may not be the true going back and knocking on doors or walking into an office off the street and saying, hey, I'm here, come buy my stuff. It's as we continue to become more developed and step out into how do we really engage at a human level, bring that personable element back into our communication, then we'll begin to learn more about ourselves as people, one, and then two, as your business, you'll have more information, more data to say, am I in the right market? Do I need to pivot away from my startup and this startup idea and move this direction? Or if I've been in business for 50 years and I'm not seeing the revenue as I once was, am I collecting that information? Am I listening to my clients or current customers and figuring out where are they going and why? Or do I need a complete new customer base? So,
all right. And Travis, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you to get more information about Affixol and what you guys do and how you're priced, I see you're pretty transparent right on your website. You have all of the information just about packages and pricing and what you do and who you are. I think it's great. So should they go over to your website or a different way?
The website's a great place to go. Again, that's affixol.com, AFFIXSOL.com. And as you mentioned, we are transparent on pricing. We believe in the element of small business and supporting the small businesses as well as those that are starting out. So we're very competitive, no contracts, subscription based. You can read all about it there. We're even bringing back the name your own plan idea, just to say, look, if you are a small business and you're not sure on how to get all this stuff wrapped around your head, I'm always up for a conversation. A little bit about little side note, a little bit about my background. This will be my third company. I've done a lot of investing in businesses and small business consultant with score.org, as some people may be familiar with those guys for many, many years. Mm-hmm. So that's just my personal passion out of what Affixol was birthed at is to give a solo entrepreneur or a small business the information, the practicality, and the access to be impactful in their community.
That's great. I appreciate you being here and appreciate you being on the show. We'll make sure we put all of the information about how to get a hold of Travis in our show notes, as well as get to the Affixol website. Travis, really appreciate you being here. Thanks again, buddy.
No, I appreciate Doug and Strickland for your time, and you guys keep doing what you're doing. I really appreciate your podcast, and it's great information, and you guys rock.
Wow. Hey, we do rock. As a matter of fact, when I went through the Q&A and I asked you what name a song that would represent you if you had a choice to pick one song that represented your life, do you remember what you chose?
I did. It was Taking Care of Business.
And Travis is totally a guy that does take care of business. Very, very good information, and thanks again for being on the show, Travis.
Yeah, one last thing, Doug and Strickland, for those that do come through your podcast, I'm going to waive the one-time subscription cost or the one-time fee that we have out there for setup for any of your podcasters that we connect with. We'll just go ahead and waive that fee for you guys.
That is great. Do they need to use Nice Guys, or do they just how they tell you that? I'm sure that somebody's going to want to take advantage of waiving the fee. So how would they do that? Yeah,
absolutely. So inside of the contact us tab, there's a form, and inside of there'll be a promo code box that you can type in Nice Guys, and then I'll reach out to you personally, and we'll chat from there. Awesome. Travis, thank you so much for being here and listening to the show. Thanks for being a fan. Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Travis Johnson for being on the show from Affixol. All the information is in the show notes. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
If you're hearing my voice right now, you obviously enjoy the podcast. So why not help the guys out? Click on the Patreon link in the show notes, and for as little as $2 a month, you can show your support. Or show us whatever you want.